Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shalom. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the road trip, Kingdom Builders, road trippers. That's right. My Akeem and Akatim, brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties, uncles, grandmas and grandpas, everybody in the house. Welcome back to the road trip, right? Our little scripture lounge that we got going on over here. That's right. Welcome back. Missed you, man. All right. Took a little day off yesterday. Had some really edifying conversations. Shout out to one of my brothers, Zakaria. That's right, man, Zakaria. I just want to say I appreciate you, man, for taking the time, out of your day. I know you're very busy, brother, but you took some time out and had a very edifying conversation with me. I just want to say Thawadah Kan and Shalom, man. All praises to the Most High. And and all praises to the Most High. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to all of you, right? Peace and blessings to your homes, your dwelling places, your loved ones, your children, your friends, and your pets. All that good stuff that you need in your life, Mishpakat. All praises to the Most High for each and every bit of it, right? And all praises to Yahweh, right? Yahweh, the Father, man, the overseer. That's right. The creator of everything, man. Abba, that's right. And through Bahashem, right? Yahweh Shai, that's right. Our brother, the king, the high priest. That's right. The best example, the first fruit, right? The unblemished lamb and the lion of Judah. That's correct. Right? And shout outs to the Ruach, already. Wisdom, right? Truth, understanding, courage, right? The indweller, the dove, peace, right? All that you receive. And the reason why you're even here is because you have the indweller, right? You have the comforter. You have the Ruach within you. All praises to the Most High. All right. So all the pleasantries, we have to take care of that, We got to give all credit where credit is due. Have to. So anyway, what are we doing? Where we're at tonight? We're back in, of course, the works of Flavius Josephus, and this is the Antiquities of the Yahudim. But you see the air quotes on the Jewish Antiquities. All right. This is book number 3, chapter 13. Moshe removed from Mount Sinai and conducted the people to the borders of the Canaanites. Okay. So we're gonna read 13 and package up 13 with 14, and we'll get to 14 when we get to it. I don't know if you saw the last one, but man, just the title of 14 is like, it sounds like they're about to start reading, the actual section. I mean, like, come on. But, so we'll read that chapter when we get to it, all right? But right now, we're focused on chapter 13. And if you have these scrolls available to you, please bring them out. Whether you have the hard copy or you're following online. If you want to take a screenshot of the cover of this book, then I will flash it real quick. Hold on. All right. So you can pause the screen right there. And if you wanted to use your cell phone just to kind of figure out how you might want to get the hard copy, if you're interested, then I'm sure there's one available for you. Okay. So anyway, no further ado, ladies and gents, all right, brothers and sisters, Akeem and Akatim, let's stop dragging the feet. Shabbat Shalom. I'm just excited because we just made it through another long and hard work week, right? For some, easy for others, right? We're all walking in that lot, but very successful and very edifying week. There was a lot of great videos that came out, but let's just go ahead and push through on this one, right? Chapter 13. Let's begin. Let's go. Section 1, and it reads, A little while afterwards, he rose up and went from Mount Sinai, and having passed through several encampments, of which he will speak, he came to a place called Hazeroth, where the multitude began again to be mutinous, right? They're starting to turn their back, be backstabbing, right? And adulterous and all kind of wickedness, right? So check this out. And to blame Moshe for the misfortunes they had suffered during their travels, and that when he had persuaded them to leave a good land, they had once had lost land, and instead of that happy state, they were still wandering in their miserable condition, being already in want of water. And if the manna should happen to fail, right, if it stops running out, must then utterly perish. They had no faith, okay? Let's continue. Yet while they spoke many and angry things against the Most High, and Moshe, there was one of them who exhorted them to not be forgetful of Moshe, and of what great pains he had been at about their common safety, and not to despair of assistance from the Most High Yahweh. The multitude thereupon became still more unruly and mutinous against Moshe than before. But Moshe, although he was so basely abused by them, encouraged them in their despairing condition, and promised that he would procure them a quantity of meat, and that not for a few days only, but for many days. This they were not to believe, and when one of them asked from where he could obtain such vast quantities of what he promised, he replied, "Neither Yahweh nor I, although we hear such opprobrious language from you." All right, so just very abrasive, right? Very abrasive language, right? "We'll leave off our labors for you, and this shall soon appear also." As soon as ever he said this, the whole camp was filled with quails, and they stood all around the people, who gathered them in great numbers. However, it was not long before the Most High Yahweh punished the Hebrews for their insolence and those reproaches they had used towards him. For no small number of them died, and still to this day the place retains the memory of this destruction and is named Kibroth Hatava. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to try that again, man. That's a long one. It says Kibroth Hatava. The double A. Ta'ava. Okay. Which is the graves of lust. The graves of lust. That's the end of chapter 13. All praises. All right. So, and you remember that when we were reading about that after the Exodus, and when we were reading the KJV, I can put a reference to that video if you missed it. I can put that in maybe the description or something that reads about this, and in that one, it talks about the Most High. I actually said, man, you're going to eat this quails until you're sick of them, right? Till it comes out of your nose, right? Till it comes out of your nostrils, right? And for 30 days, they were gathering everything they could, but then he plagued the camp. And in the KJV, it goes over the exact number of how many were destroyed, I think in a very short amount of time. And I don't have that reference on hand right now, but, you know, we've read it before, but I can put the previous videos links, I guess, in the description. I'm not really good at YouTube, and so, you know, don't judge me. Whatever, man. We're going to continue on and start reading chapter 14. Let's continue. All right. So, chapter 14, and this is that long title. Chapter 14 concerning how Moshe sent some persons to search out the land of the Canaanites and the size of their cities, and further that when those who were sent were returned after 40 days and reported that they should not be a match for them and extol the strength of the Canaanites, the multitude were disturbed and fell into despair and were resolved to stone Moshe and to return back again into Mizraim to serve the Egyptians. Now, how's that for a title? I mean, come on. All right. That's kind of a lot. All right. So we're going to go ahead and read that. Okay. All right. Section 1. And it reads, when Moshe had led the Hebrews away from there to a place called Paran, which was near to the borders of the Canaanites, and a place difficult to remain in, he gathered the multitude together to a congregation, and standing in the midst of them, he said, of the two things that the Most High Yahweh determined to bestow upon us, liberty and the possession of a happy country. The one of them you already are partakers of, right? Liberty, by the gift of the Most High, and the other you will quickly obtain. For we now have our abode near the borders of the Canaanites, and nothing can hinder the acquisition of it. When we now at last are fallen upon it, I say, not only no king nor city, but neither the whole race of mankind, if they were all gathered together, could do it. Nothing can stop us now, right? Let's continue. Let us therefore prepare ourselves for the work, for the Canaanites will not resign up their land to us without fighting, but it must be wrestled from them by great struggles and war, right? There's no diplomatic nothing. That's our land. We're going to take what belongs to us. Let's continue. Let us then send spies who may take a view of the goodness of the land and what strength it is of. But above all things, let us be of one mind, and let us honor the Most High Yahweh, who above all is our helper and assister. That's the end of section 1. The assister, right? Who assists in everything. We're going to continue to section 2. Let's go. Section 2, and it reads, When Moshe had said thus, the multitude repaid him with marks of respect, and chose 12 spies of the most eminent men, one out of each tribe, who passing over all the land of Canaan from the borders of Mizraim came to the city Hamath and to Mount Lebanon. Sound familiar, right? Let's continue. And having learned the nature of the land and of its inhabitants, they came home, having spent 40 days in the whole work. They also brought with them the fruits of the land and what they bore. They also showed them the excellency of those fruits, and gave an account of the great quantity of the good things that the land afforded, which were motives to the multitude to go to war. But then they terrified them again with the great difficulty there was in obtaining it, that the rivers were so large and deep that they could not be passed over, and that the hills were so high that they could not travel along for them. Right, the precipices, remember? That the cities were strong with walls, and their firm fortifications all around them. They told them also that they found at Hebron the posterity of the giants, right? The Nephilim and the Raphaim, right? Children of the fallen. Accordingly, these spies who had seen the land of Canaan, when they perceived that all these difficulties were greater there than they had met with since they had came out of Mizraim, they were frightened of them and tried to frighten the multitude also, right? Unrighteousness, straight wickedness, right? And that's the end of section 2, right? And there's a reason why they were not allowed into the promised land. O ye of little faith, you better step up and walk in righteousness. Let's continue. Section 3. So they supposed, from what they had heard, that it was impossible to get the possession of the country. And when the congregation was dissolved, they, their wives, and children continued their lamentation, as if the Most High Yahweh would not indeed assist them, but had only promised them. They didn't believe. They also again blamed Moshe, and made a clamor against him and his brother Aharon, the high priest. Accordingly, they passed that night very restlessly, and with humiliating language against them. But in the morning they came all together, intending to stone Moshe and Aharon, and so to return back into Mizraim. Right? The wickedness of our people in the past. That's the end of section 3. The wickedness. Right? And it sounds like that now, because we're reading about these scriptures, we're reading about these scrolls, and we're like, yes, you know, those were righteous Akim. Right? Those were righteous Akim in our bloodline. Right? They were Hebrews sent by the Most High. And you see the nature of our people, all in one accord, ready to rebel against righteousness because they don't see the plot at that time. Well, don't you think that there's nothing new under the sun, like Ecclesiastes 1:9? Right? So don't you think as before, so again? And so right now, there's some brothers out here who are really telling some truth, and people are rebelling. People are basically spiritually stoning people out here because they don't believe the truth. Right? So is it so crazy? Is it so unrighteous? Is it so out of mind understanding to think that just maybe if it happened before, it could happen again? Because there's duality, there's above, so below, and there's nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1:9. Let's continue on to section 4. All right, that's just something that I don't know. That hit me in the ruach right there, and so I was just saying, our people are the same people. They're walking in their lots, right? And right now you have the most righteous who ever existed in history, and right now you have the most wicked and most debaucherous who have ever existed in history. And we're all obtaining, and we're all coexisting on the same plane right now. And the reason why is because the righteous will see the coming back of our king and our brother. And the most wicked, the ones who stabbed them, he says, those who stabbed me in my ribs, you will see me coming through those clouds, right? Yeah, all those people who were wicked in these wars, these European wars. Interesting how they died just in time to be regenerated and be of age to see and to understand what's about to happen. Right. Just food for thought. But we got more to read, all right? And because I just, talked this up too much, I think that to keep this kind of concise, I'm going to finish up on chapter 14 here, and then we'll close out chapter 15. That will end book 3. I don't know. We're going to move in the Ruach. All right, we're going to move in the Ruach. Let's get section 4. Let's go. Section 4, and it reads, But of the spies there was Joshua, the son of Nun, of the tribe of Ephraim, and Caleb, the tribe of Judah, right? Yahudah, that were afraid of the consequence, and came into the midst of them and stilled the multitude, and desired them to be of good courage, and neither to condemn the Most High Yahweh as having told them lies, nor to hearken to those who had frightened them, by telling them what was not true concerning the Canaanites, but to those that encouraged them to hope for good success, and that they should gain possession of the happiness promised them, because neither the height of mountains nor the depth of rivers could stop men of true courage from attempting them, especially while the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, would take care of them beforehand and be assistant to them. Let us then go, said they, against our enemies, and have no suspicion of ill success, trusting in the Most High to conduct us, and following those that are to be our leaders. Righteous obedience. You understand? Let's continue. Thus did these to exhort them, right? Joshua of Nun and Caleb. That's why they got in unwavering faith against all odds, because it's the Most High we believe in. Don't trust in your own eyes. Don't trust in your own heart. Lean not on your own understanding, right? We have a Father for that. Let's continue reading. Thus did these two exhort them, and try to pacify the rage they were in. But Moshe and Aharon fell on the ground and prayed to the Most High Yahweh, not for their own deliverance, but that he would put a stop to what the people were unwaringly doing, and would bring their minds to a quiet temper, which had become now disordered by their present passion. The cloud also did now appear. Oh boy, the cloud. And stood over the tabernacle, and declared to them the presence of the Most High Yahweh to be there. Oh man, Selah. Oh, no man. Unrighteous attitudes. Oh, you bring Abba to the scene. Now, there's only going to be a couple things that are going to come out of that, right? And a lot of times it ends up with a lot of dead bodies, okay? You got to stay in righteous order, in all order. He gave us the rules. Pay attention. Hey, all right. So, I wasn't going to do it. That was the end of chapter 14, by the way. But I wasn't going to do it, but this is a labor of love, of course, as all of you know, because if you're here, I'm sure you follow a lot of other things that I'm into too. So you already know what it is. I wasn't going to finish up chapter 15 here because that is the last chapter in book number 3 of the Antiquities of the Yahudim. But you know what? On this Shabbat, you know, it's not sundown yet. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this out before I start relaxing. And we're going to go ahead and finish up book 3. All right, so we're going to read chapter 15 concerning how Moshe was displeased at this and foretold that the Most High Yahweh was angry and that they should continue in the wilderness for 40 years and not during that time either return into Mizraim or take possession of Canaan, right? Until all the people over the age of 20 had died off, you know, stayed Joshua of Nun and, you know, our brother Caleb of the tribe of the of Yahudah, right? Yahudah. He was a Yahudim. You know, he was a quote-unquote Jew, right? But all right, so let's continue. So we're going to read that and finish up chapter 15. There are no notes, which is kind of strange to close out. Well, there is one note, but it's just a reference. But that's weird to close out a whole book to not have a note. But all right, you guys ready? Y'all ready? I love you. Okay, let's begin. Chapter 15. Yeah. All right, section 1, and it reads, Moshe came now boldly to the multitude and informed them that the Most High was stirred to action by their abuse of him and would inflict punishment upon them, not indeed such as they deserve for their sins, but such as parents inflict on their children, in order to their correction, right? That's righteous chastisement. That's love, because he could have just wiped their noses clean and they could have been all done. And he could have started over with another people. But he loved us and he had mercy on us. Let's continue. For he said that when he was in the tabernacle and was bewailing with tears that destruction that was coming upon them, the Most High put him in a mind what things he had done for them, and what benefits they had received from him, and yet how ungrateful they had been to him, right? That just now they had been induced through the timidity of the spies to think that their words were truer than his own promise to them, right? You're going to take the words of men over the words of the Most High Yahweh? He told you that's your land, so why would you take the words of a man, right? Just like you that I'm talking to, road trippers and kingdom builders, the covenant, the promise that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, yeah, that promise, he said, your people forever, us, that promise still exists. So that's what you got to believe in, that just like just right here, like we're reading, okay? Pay attention, all right? And it reads, and on this account, though he would not indeed destroy them all, nor utterly exterminate their nation, which he had honored more than any other part of mankind, yet he would not permit them to take possession of the land of Canaan, nor enjoy its happiness, but would make them wander in the wilderness and live without a fixed habitation and without a city, for 40 years together as a punishment for this their transgression, but that he had promised to give that land to their children, right? And that he would make them the possessors of good things, which by their ungoverned passions they had deprived themselves, right? People putting their foot in their mouth. That's the end of section 1. Putting their foot in the mouth, right? These celebrities. You sold all of this promise. I'm talking about the Hebrew celebrities. You sold all of this promise for how much? How much did they give you? Right? How long did you get to enjoy that? How many years? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I feel you. All right. Well, I don't feel you, and that's 2/3, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a lot of other people who have that mammon spirit, right? That mammon ruach. Right? So just like they say right here, and by their ungoverned passion, ungoverned, no self-control, me, now. No patience, no trust in the Father. You know, by their ungoverned passions, they had deprived themselves. They deprived themselves of what? Eternity, paradise, the kingdom, right? Rulership, Priestlyhood, brotherhood, sisterhood, right? All that good stuff, Mishpakat. That's stuff that you're really, really going to need in your life. So let's continue on to section 2. Let's go. All right? Yeah. Section 2, and it reads, when Moshe had said this to them, according to the direction of the Most High, the multitude grieved and were in affliction, and begged Moshe to arrange their reconciliation to the Most High, and to permit them no longer to wander in the wilderness, but bestow cities upon them. But he replied that the Most High would not allow any such trial, for the Most High was not moved from his determination by any human inconsistency or anger, but that he had judicially condemned them to that punishment, right? Because the Most High has no respect to persons. Like we respect each other, right? We do, because we're family. That relationship between us in that respect, yeah, you and the Father, us, anybody in the Father, humans in the Father. There is no mutual respect there. None whatsoever. And so, see, a lot of people got the Father messed up, man. They got him all effed up, right? They don't understand. He doesn't respect you. He loves you, all right? There's a big difference, all right? And you need to understand what that difference is. You need to fear him. You need to get on game. Let's continue, all right? All right, continuing on. And it reads, now, we are not to disbelieve that Moshe, who was but a single person, pacified so many 10,000s when they were angry, and converted them to a mild temper. For Yahweh was with him, and prepared the way for his persuasions of the multitude. Yeah, he was talking right through the Ruach, right? Right. The Most High was talking for him, right? Through his own mouth, right? Through Moshe's mouth, right? And as they had often been disobedient, they were now sensible that such disobedience was disadvantageous to them, and that they had thereby fallen into calamities. All right, that's the end of section 2. Let's continue. Section 3. But this man was admirable for his virtue and power in making men give credit to what he delivered, not only during the time of his natural life, but even there is still no one of the Hebrews who does not act, even now, as if Moshe were present, and ready to punish him if he should do anything that is indecent. Now, see, he's talking back in 73 AD. All right, this is not our current time. This is the works of Flavius Josephus, right? So he's talking like around the time of the fall of Jerusalem and the temple. Right? So even at that time, people still talked as if Moshe was still there. That kind of level of respect, right, for his legacy and his bestowed blessings by the Most High, right? Honor and to be a man of pertinent value to the Hebrew history and communities. Right? Okay, let's continue. Indeed, there is no one but is obedient to what laws he ordained, although they might be concealed in their transgressions. There are also many other demonstrations that his power was more than human. For still some, talking about the little plagues and the miracles, for still some there have been who have come from the parts beyond Euphrates, a journey of 4 months, through many dangers and at great expenses, in honor of our temple. And yet, when they had offered their offerings, could not partake of their own sacrifices, because Moshe had forbidden it by something in the law that did not permit them, or something that had befallen them, which our ancient customs made inconsistent with it. Some of these did not sacrifice at all, and others left their sacrifices in an imperfect condition. Many were not able, even at first, so much as to enter the temple, but went their ways in this, as preferring a submission to the laws of Moshe before the fulfilling of their own inclinations, even when they had no fear upon them that anybody could convict them, but only out of the reverence to their own conscience. Right? Thus, this legislation, which appeared to be divine, made this man to be esteemed as one superior to his own nature. Further, a little before the beginnings of this war, when Claudius was an emperor of the Romans, and Ishmael was our high priest, and when so great a famine was come upon us, that 1/10 deal of wheat was sold for 4 drachmas. Right? That's a European denomination, drachmas. And when no less than 70 kori of flour were brought into the temple at the feast of unleavened bread, these kori are 31 Sicilian, but 41 Athenian medimni. Not one of the priests was so hardy as to eat 1 crumb of it, even while so great a distress was upon the land. And this is out of the dread of the law, and out of the wrath which the Most High Yahweh retains against acts of wickedness, even when no one can accuse the actors. Thus we are not to wonder at what was then done, while to this day, this very day, the writings left by Moshe have so great a force, that even those that hate us do confess that he who established this settlement was the Most High Yahweh, and that it was by the means of Moshe and of his virtue. But as to these matters, let everyone take them as he thinks fit. Right? So let it be. You know, Selah. And that's how it's supposed to be. You know, if you've been told the truth and you don't believe it, hey man, let everybody take this understanding as you see fit. All right. Let the Ruach deal with you. All right. And you need to be dealing with the Ruach to be understanding and discerning what is real. You need to test every Ruach, test every spirit. You need to know where it's operating from. Right? That's the end of chapter 15, and thus that's the end of book number 3 of the Antiquities of the Yahudim. We're going to be moving on to book number 4, a brand new spanking crispy book, right? And just a little prelude, right? Book 4 containing the interval of 38 years from the rejection of that generation to the death of Moshe, right? And we're going to start on chapter 1 concerning the fight of the Hebrews with the Canaanites without the consent of Moshe and their defeat, right? They lost. So we're going to talk about that on the next read. But right now, we're going to go ahead and throw book number 3 of the Antiquities of the Yahudim. We're going to throw that up there on the board at the end of this video. And all praises to the Most High. Thank y'all for being here with me. Oh, man. Akim and Akatim, right? Mishpakai family, right? You guys know what it is, right? This is the road trip. And Shabbat Shalom, please, as you're traveling up and down the roads, please be safe out there as you drive, right? Especially if you got those little kitties in the car, right? All praise to the Most High. Shalom, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy this Shabbat. Kick your feet up, rest, eat some good food, right? Hopefully you had a good Shabbat prep and you got something really stored up for this day, all right? Let's do this all in righteousness, kingdom-minded, right? That's right. All praise to the Most High. And Yahweh willing, I will see you all on the next one, right? And you know the deal. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And my love and my respect to y'all. I love you all. See you soon. Yeah.